Every time we get above VWAP, right, you have buyers. But hey everyone, kind of a wild trading day. Bouncing around a lot of names to go over tonight. Nothing really fantastic. Well, there's one company that came out with pretty good numbers. We'll go over that in a moment. But RBLX, not really the earnings and revenue stream that you're looking for out of a growth company, to say the least. The loss came in at 27 cents versus a loss of 22 cents was the estimate. Sales came in at 537 million. We were looking for 639 million. So far from a great quarter, not anywhere near where they were supposed to come in now. We're not really selling off that much, which leads me to believe that expectations were very low. We're going to have to see how this goes. This is being filmed before the conference call, so I don't really know how we're going to do when the conference call kicks in. I would say this, that you have come down a lot. You're trying to hold in here, but this is a really simple trade for me. So first and foremost, what you do is you get rid of the pre and post data. All you do tomorrow is just watch how you act at today's close. So today's close, to be exact, is going to be, let's just see right here, give you 23.18. You need to just see how you act at tomorrow's close. Let's zoom in on this for a moment. So if you can get up to that level tomorrow, just watch the action at that level. I would be looking at shorting this. Now, you are down from 35 to 22, 23 after hours. So maybe some of this is baked in, maybe, but this was far from a great quarter. And who wants to own a company that has declining revenues that's a growth company? I mean, you just don't want to do that. And you can just kind of see ever since you broke the opening bid, that's been it. It's just been straight down. You've had your bounces, but every week it's just been systemic selling. There's no reason that that's going to change. So something to consider. Now, Unity Software, and you're seeing a theme, and we should probably talk about this a little bit. We saw this theme already with Net last week when Net missed. Software name, and now you have that obviously has missed. You closed at $48, and now today you are at $31.50. It's gonna be really tough to tell you just to short it here, but that said, I would watch this level really closely where we closed right on that 15-minute after hours, 31.39. You've been fighting with it all day. If you do bounce up to here into the conference call, $48, you need to look at this and you need to look at shorting this. This was a dumpster fire, to say the least. Now, earnings came in line, but sales missed. They only missed by $1 million, but that's not what they're going to look at. You're always looking at future. Where's the future guiding us? Future's guiding us on this 290 versus the estimate of 361, which is not really what you're looking for. And now you're looking at 1.35 sales for the year versus 1.5. And you're looking from a loss of operations instead of a gain. So this is not really where you want to be for a growth company. And we should probably talk about the elephant in the room while we're looking at this. Forget about inflation. Forget about what's going on there. Take a look what's happening with earnings. Earnings are not going well for a lot of companies. So I like this as a short. You need to see how it bounces. No different than how we watched UPST bounce, and then we're able to find a spot to short that, right? All you have to do is just wait for the bounces, okay? And then you'll be able to find spots. No different than what happened here last night. The stock went from 75 to 50. People thought that it couldn't possibly get any worse, and then here we are this morning where it's in the 20s. And now we just redline. So it can always get worse. And I expect these names to continue to sell down. Any rallies are just going to be sold into. I mean, you can see that coming. Now, SARK, this is one we've been talking about for some time. If you get the newsletter, the free version, this trade was in there at 64.5 again. We've been in and out of this a couple times, but it's doing one of my favorite things. So if you look at the high end of this range, you're trying to break an upper channel. If this can break out of the upper channel, tomorrow's CPI numbers coming out. So you're going to have a volatile day. Now, whether that's up or down, nobody knows. But this is setting to break out of here. If we can break out of here, then this can go parabolic. So you're going to want to watch this line and you're going to want to watch this level. I would just wait and see how you act again against the close. You don't have to wait for the high of this because that's another $2. Just watch the close and watch tomorrow's open. 72.07. If you get above that after the CPI, chances are that this is probably going to go and it's probably going to break. So I like this trade, and it could go a lot higher. ARK has a lot of issues. This is obviously the short fund. There's a lot going on here under the hood. I mean, today TDOC actually, which is one of their third largest positions, right? I mean, that actually hit a new low today. So this is setting up to go. Everyone can see that H, right? So this is setting up to go a lot lower. Coin was one that we actually were playing around in the trading room. We actually shorted today. I can walk through that trade so that people can kind of understand what we did. So I constantly am looking for patterns, right? So all I do is I look for patterns. Now this one was pretty glaring, but let me just show you this. So all we were looking for was every time we get above VWAP, right? You have buyers. But you have buyers in a downtrend. So I'm in a downtrend. So do I really have buyers? Kind of, but not really, because every single time we're breaking it. So today, when it got above there before earnings, gave us a great place to put a little bit of an alert on, put the trade on right around here, 78.50, trade it down, and then we could either stay short or we could roll it into puts. It really depends on the person. I don't really want to hold stock after hours. I'd rather hold the puts because it gives me way more flexibility to go long or short. Increase the position. But here's where you're at right now, closed at 73 and we're at 65. At the time of filming this, the conference call's not out yet, but these earnings were not what you want to see. I'm just going to give you a couple of the highlights. So earnings came in and they lost $2. Last year they made $3 during this quarter. Their EBITDA for the same quarter last year, this quarter they made $20 million. Last quarter they made $1.1 billion. So I'll say that again. This quarter, they made $20 million. Last quarter, they made $1.1 billion. Okay. Sales came in at 1.17. That's a miss. They were looking for roughly 1.5 billion. So to say that this is bad is grossly an understatement. And I expect this to continue to trade down. If you just take a look at what's going on here, all you're doing is just hitting new lows. There's no ceiling here. Maybe you get a bounce just because people want to cover. I would just argue that if you get any kind of bounce, just sell into that bounce. There's really no reason to do anything else. If you're short and you're fortunate enough to be short, I'm staying short. But just watch this level. Very similar trade. You can see this. Even this positive divergence on the RSI was not going to be respected. So just watch what you do tomorrow and watch this close. If you can get back to the 73 level, that's where I would look at adding to the short position. But I wouldn't do it until you get to that level. You have CPI tomorrow. You don't want to be shorting too much after hours here. You don't know how CPI is going to go. I will cover the indexes briefly tonight based upon the comments. So comment, because it does tell me what you want covered. I do read every single comment and I answer every single comment, although sometimes it takes a little longer to get there. But let's just throw in the main ones. I'll leave the volume out. And let's just talk about this. So everyone's a little excited thinking that, we're going to trade up because CPI is coming out. Are we oversold? Yes. Could we trade up on that? Sure. Are we due for a bounce? Absolutely. I mean, we're down over 10% or darn near close to 10% since this started. So let's just take a look at where we are from soup to nuts. You're roughly around 9.27% since the break. Look, we opened, okay, and we closed lower than the open. There's not much to say. Yeah, you're up 1%, but you were up over 2.5% at one point today. So it tells you everything that you need to know. All you're doing is seeing selling into these names, and you're seeing it in all the largest names. It's not going away. Look at NVIDIA. Look at this on a 15-minute. Overlay something like this with just simply that VWAP that we just talked about a little bit earlier. Get rid of everything else. And you can kind of see these stocks are always reverting back to VWAP. They're always breaking, hitting resistance points, and then rolling again. That's not changing, and I don't expect that to change. Now, if you take a look at the SOX, which is really what you need to hold, let's get rid of these indicators. You're seeing it trying to hold this level, 393. How much longer we hold on there, I'm not really sure. So just be aware of that. We're going to do the VIX and the 10-year, but I just want to talk about energy for a second. Yep, I'm going to talk about the energy sector for a second. Wow, what a tongue twister that is after a long day. So you're sitting right on the 50. Okay, nothing's changed. I have a doji here. Long-legged dojis are signs of uncertainty. Nothing has changed. Demand for oil has not changed. So the only thing that's changed is that the EU has come out and said that they're not going to ban Russian oil. So that has added to a decrease here, but I don't foresee that lasting. That's just my personal opinion, and I still like the energy space a lot. Now, let's talk about the 10-year and the VIX. So the 10-year, we're under 3%. So if we're under 3%, we could see a rally in equities. We have to see what the CPI comes in tomorrow. I believe the estimate's 0.4. Anything less than that 0.3, I would expect some kind of rally in the equities. And really, let's take a look at where you're at with the VIX. VIX hardly moved today. Okay, that tells you everything you need to know. So you have an inside day on the VIX, even though the NASDAQ at one point was up 3%. So if I have this kind of volatility going on and the VIX is hardly moving, again, that tells you everything you need to know. I don't have the panic that I need in order to put in a bottom here. It's that simple. Let's get through CPI tomorrow and see how it goes. You might just want to write down those levels we went over or rewatch those levels so you know where they're at. Everybody have a great evening and trade to win tomorrow.